Let's go to Washington. I'm joined by investigative journalist Gareth Porter. Welcome to the programme, sir. Mr. Porter, the United States government is asking the Congress not to pass new sanctions against Iran. Tehran, meanwhile, is looking for sanctions to be lifted in exchange for greater nuclear transparency. So how do you see the situation under the present circumstances?
I think that we do have, for the first time, at least some chance that the United States will be able to carry out real diplomacy and reach an agreement with Iran. But in order to do that, let's be clear about one thing. The President of the United States is going to have to expend a great deal of political capital, use political influence in a way that he has never done before with regard to Iran. It means that the President will have to use the national security waiver that is written into legislation in a very strong way to reach an agreement with Iran that allows the United States to agree to withdraw all of the sanctions. And I'm quite convinced that when Foreign Minister Zarif says that there has to be an end to all the sanctions, that Iran is quite serious about this. I think that there's no way that they'll be able to agree to the kinds of concessions with regard to the nuclear program without an assurance that it will be a complete end to the economic sanctions against Iran. So I think it's a very high bar. I think there's a chance, but I also think that the chances are still that the President is going to be under great political pressure, and it's going to be very difficult for him to do what has to be done in order to make a deal.
Well, the President has signed. I mean, the Congress
is going to be under great political pressure, and it's going to be very difficult for him to do what has to be done in order to make a deal.
Well, the President has signed. I mean, the Congress is the body that has the authority to pass sanctions against Iran. But at the same time, there are documents that congressmen are influenced by Israeli lobbies to pass sanctions against Iran. Having this in mind, how much will there be a rift between the United States and Israel over this case?
Well, we know it's very clear that there's a huge and growing rift between the United States and Israel simply because of the indications that the White House is now ready to at least begin a process of serious negotiations with Iran. That can only grow more vicious with regard to the Israeli attacks on U.S. policy, on U.S. diplomacy over the coming months. There's no question that that's going to be the direction politically that things are going to move. And so the question really, again, as I've suggested, is whether the White House has the will politically to expend the political capital that's necessary to confront the opposition that will come from Congress, from both the House and the Senate, majorities of which are definitely on the take from the Israeli lobby, get large contributions from AIPAC every political season, every electoral season, and are ready to support the Israeli position on these negotiations. So the President is going to have to say, I will use national security waivers. He must promise Iran that he's willing to do that and confront Congress every 6 months in some cases, and even less, 3 months in other cases with regard to this sanctions legislation.
There's another dimension to sanctions against Iran. Many are saying that such sanctions amount to a crime against humanity because of the very simple fact that these sanctions are affecting ordinary Iranian citizens, especially those suffering from diseases such as cancer. How much do you think this holds true?
Well, of course, the consequences can be extremely dire for individuals who are victims of sanctions. There's no question about that. I mean, we know in the case of the sanctions against Iraq that there was tremendous human suffering. Hundreds of thousands of people died because of that. That is the ultimate case of a crime that is committed through sanctions. If these sanctions were to continue and to grow worse over a period of time, one can certainly see those kinds of consequences occurring in Iran as well. So it does have the potential for beginning to be an overt crime which has the kinds of dire consequences in terms of death for thousands, tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of people. But hopefully the American people will support a president to take action to end this needless crisis, what I call a manufactured crisis over the last decade, which doesn't serve American interests. And I think the White House recognizes that that is the case, certainly at this point, that it's a crisis that needs to be liquidated. And that's the hope that we still have to hold out, that this can be ended.
Indeed. We'll have to leave it there for the time being. Many thanks to Gareth Porter, investigative journalist from Washington. As always, thanks for your time there, sir.